Hey guys, I hope you know you're like literally sitting on my windshield, I don't know what it's called, my window, because we gotta get that lighting and I literally have nowhere to put my tripod. Hi guys, it's Melanie. Please ignore if you hear the birds, you're like right up there with the trees. But hey, my name's Melanie. If you are simply looking for some advice or information on studying abroad or London, this is the place for you. Nice to meet you. But if you watch my videos, then hey, what's up? You probably know I've been in London for almost, oh my gosh, there's a fly. I've been in London for almost like 3 weeks now and I am studying abroad here. I attend Pepperdine University and they have a very big study abroad program. So I've been knowing I was gonna study here. I had to apply for all of this back in freshman year. And my school has a pretty well-known study abroad program, I would say, within the school and like maybe without. It was a big drawing reason to why I wanted to attend the school. But today I asked you guys to ask me some questions on Instagram. So I'm just gonna give you a broad overview. You know, I kind of just started posting like, surprise, I moved to London, I'm in London. So I'm just gonna like explain some things and what my program is like if you are interested in attending Pepperdine, studying abroad in general, or studying abroad with Pepperdine, any of those things. And then also just giving some like thoughts on it, advice, answering questions, and like updating you guys because I haven't talked to you in a while. So that was a big spiel, but let's get straight into this. To start this off, I'm just gonna give you guys an overview of what my program's like. So as I said, I've been here for about 3-ish weeks approaching so far. The program's a little bit shorter than a regular semester here. Pepperdine is a semester system, so it's usually like 4 months, but the program is a little bit over 3 months. We started in the beginning of January and we end mid-April. That being said, a lot of people will like come early or like stay later to extend their own travels, and also a lot of people do full year. I'm only gonna be speaking on my program because obviously that's all I know, but Pepperdine's international programs has like a lot of different locations. So they have one in like Germany and Florence and Lausanne, and those ones are all like a little bit different, but basically Pepperdine has its own campus here, so that varies for each program. But the London one is a literal like Victorian style house, so it's actually 5 levels. The underground is the basement, so some people live there, and there is a communal kitchen. The ground level is like our front desk area, and then there's like some offices and stuff. And then the first level is classrooms, second level is boys rooms, third level is girls rooms, and then the top floor just has our in-house like professor advisor person. As you can tell, you are going to be living with a lot of other students. There are full year academic students, and then there's also like students who just stay for the fall or just stay for the spring, so you apply for that in the beginning. The rooming, I've mentioned this a little bit, but my room layout, well, it has room for 6 people in it, but we have 4 people in it right now. So it's a really big room, but there are a lot more people in it. There are also rooms for like 2 people and rooms that have 3 people in it. Yeah, we have like a shared hall, bathrooms, that stuff. You guys probably don't care about that much about that. As I said, the first floor has classrooms in it, so all of our classes are in the same building that we live in. So we wake up, we go downstairs to eat breakfast, and then we walk up a couple steps to go to class, which is nice, but it's also kind of like weird that you can stay in your own house the whole day. There are about 40 students living in the house right now, but I know it varies. I think usually they're around 50, changes by year, depends, you know, like COVID obviously affected this a lot. Other things we do, we have like group dinners a lot. So my program, I feel like, is very emphasized on building community because we are living together in a house. So we also have like a lot of group activities. We kind of had like an orientation in the beginning where we got to know the city and know each other. We also do some group trips. They do a lot of field trips, which is kind of what you're paying for. I kind of think of it now as kind of like paying for a group travel plan. What's it called when you pay for someone to plan your trip? It's kind of like that, but like studying abroad. We just went on a trip to Oxford together as a class. Some of them are for classes and some of them are like just for the students all to go together, bond and whatnot. We also have a big like EFT, which is our something field trip. Basically during our like spring break, they'll take us to pre-plan like a bunch of activities, a lot of tours. Obviously we have a really big group, so we like eat together. They have to pre-plan that, organize the buses and the train rides and those things. And a lot of the classes here apply directly to London, so they mark off your GEs, and they also, you know, help you learn more about London. For example, Pepperdine has religion requirements, and I'm taking my religion requirement here, which is Celtic Christianity. It's a little bit easier to learn about that when we can go to our museums here, and proximity wise are a lot closer. There's also like history classes, like history of the British monarch, which is way cooler to learn about here when you could once again tour, see things firsthand rather than learning about it in like a Malibu campus. The last thing I'll mention, I'm probably forgetting a ton of things, but I've been talking for so long, is that here it's not like you're studying per your major. I kind of mentioned this, but everyone here is taking GEs. So typically at Pepperdine, everyone studies abroad their sophomore year. We do have some like juniors in house. Usually it's with like your sophomore class, just because everyone's getting their GEs, so we can all take natural science or religion classes or history or English classes together. I also want to preface, my opinions are definitely developing as I go, and they're probably going to change by the end of this. I'm only in like a third of the way or a fourth, I don't know, I can't math right now. And a big part of studying abroad is like learning and growing, so I'm actually really excited to see. I don't go back and watch my videos, but if I go back and watch this, seeing how my mind changes as I go. And also these are just my own opinions and experiences so far. Every study abroad program is very different, and everyone has very different experiences while they're studying abroad. Now we're gonna get on to some of the Instagram questions. This is what I posted. I also realized with the time difference, like, I'm sorry guys, whoever comments on this is a real one, because that means they're awake at 5 a.m 7 a.m math. Okay, first off, thank you guys for leaving comments. It's so fun to answer these, and I haven't done a Q&A in so long. Why did you choose London, and do you know where you'll go next? So London, honestly, this is pretty big for everyone. But the language barrier, a lot of the other locations, language barriers, which come with even bigger like culture shocks, and you know, already moving to a different country is a huge deal, but I can't even imagine having language on top of that, because I'm already shy. Like, I can't even speak English to people, so there was that. But also easy to travel to other places from here. Always wanted to go to London, like fashion wise, I don't know, architecture city wise, beautiful, so many museums, and I hear the accents, guys, so many coffee shops. I don't know, it's always just kind of been a dream. I've always wanted to go to Europe in general, and I haven't gotten to like explore it that much previous to this. Also, I just like how the program sounded a lot at Pepperdine, and I heard like really good things about it. All right, there's like something going on out there. What are all the weird things that are different in the UK? And this is coming from someone who lives in the UK, so they think it's funny. Okay, well, first off, like outlets, obviously, but it like charges stuff so much faster. The toilets, always gonna be weird to me. I just feel like the flush power is worse, and like pushing it just throws me off. Everything tastes a bit healthier here, and the portion sizes are much smaller in comparison to America, which I actually personally kind of like, because it feels like the quality of food is better, and like certain things that, you know, might make your stomach hurt in America might not here. Like, we baked cookies the other day. The serving size, I feel like usually in America it's always like 24 cookies, but it made only 8 cookies, like 8 small cookies, and I was like, I could finish this, honestly. And even at restaurants, it's like you're paying the same amount or even more, because you do pay more for automatic tip and like service charges definitely give you like less. And even the coffee cups, like coffee is way smaller. The eggs, not refrigerated here, which kind of cool. First impression on London. Honestly, I think it's really beautiful. My first impressions were that it felt much safer, which it could be the area that I'm like mostly staying in, but it felt safer and like, as I said, a little bit more like posh. Like everything just feels nicer. Everyone dresses, I feel like, a bit nicer. Like I feel like I can't go, not camp, but I don't want to go walking in just like my leggings and my baggy t-shirt. I feel like I want to put on like a outfit, which I know it's kind of like that some other places. Maybe the East Coast is a little more like that, and I'm just used to West Coast super laid back fashion here. I feel like I notice everybody's fashion. Someone asked, aren't you scared of being lonely? Which I think is a really big thing. It's kind of like, I don't know, it's weird because you're in a house full of people for this location, and they really emphasize community with Pepperdine in general, but especially with the IP programs. They kind of market it as if you're gonna meet your best friends here, you're gonna make amazing memories, which is super true because like, of course, when you make memories and travel with people, that's an experience you like can't replace, and you're spending a lot of time with them. But also when you think about it, like 3 to 4 months is a long time to live with people, but it's also not like a super long time in the big scheme of things. They kind of talk about this at Pepperdine, just how it's weird that everyone goes sophomore year, because that's normally, not for me because I had a COVID year where I was online my freshman year, but you settle in your freshman year. By the end of it, you have your friends, you're comfortable at school, you like it at school, or you don't. But that all gets messed up when you go study abroad, or everyone who you know and who are your friends go to study abroad, so it kind of like rips everyone apart in a way at a really weird time. Like I kind of felt that just because my first semester at Pepperdine, I was really happy and comfortable there, and like I already was you know, comfortable in California, and I loved campus and like the friends I made there. Going over and doing everything again and moving to a different country is kind of like a lot, which obviously like that's what I chose to do, but also I chose to do it when I was a freshman, and like they really do glamorize lots of parts of it, just being like, oh, because you know, it kind of is like a business, like, you know. It's been kind of hard for me just because like you live with people and go to class with the same people, you can't like avoid them, which, you know, avoiding people isn't always the best thing, but you know, you don't have like, I don't even have my own room to hide in when I'm like feeling down or like need to recharge, because I am pretty introverted and I just get drained really easily. So when we're going on a lot of field trips and you don't really have a choice, or you know, have to be around people just to eat in the kitchen, sometimes it gets a little bit tiring, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just like a big adjustment, getting used to living with so many people and interacting with so many people. I can say and will say the extroverts here are probably thriving, but as someone who needs like a lot of alone time, I'm glad I have a huge park nearby that I can go on my daily walks to, and a bunch of cafes that I can go study at by myself. And I don't even know if I really answered that question, but feeling lonely I feel like is kind of inevitable anywhere. Of course, you're in a weird situation where you're surrounded by so many people, which is like, you can distract yourself by spending so much time with people, but also you can be left feeling almost more lonely because you're surrounded by all these people who you like don't really know or like feel like you should know. Obviously you're gonna miss your friends and like loved ones at home, especially with the time difference. Time difference be rough, guys. What was the process for studying abroad? Of course, this is gonna be different at every school and every program, and I also know a lot of programs are pretty different where it can just be like one class or a smaller group, a shorter amount of time, something like that. For this program specifically, and most of the ones at Pepperdine, you like rank the ones you wanted to go to in order, and you had to answer a bunch of essays. I think it was like 3, and I'm pretty sure they were like, why this program, like how will you bring what you learned back with you, something like that, one of those types of questions, you know. So it was like 3-ish essays, and then they also had a kind of like interview video portion. I'm not super sure if it's usually an in-person interview, but since I applied during like peak COVID times, it was like a YouTube video. So like a lot of people are asking about price and how expensive it is, different varying on the program. And also the nice thing about Pepperdine's is like your tuition's the same, and your scholarship, if you have one, applies to your tuition even if you are abroad. There's like an additional fee, which is kind of a lot, and then also everything you do here you'll be paying for yourself too. So like we have group dinners, which paid for, like you already pay for through your international fee, and then also you get like a stipend, basically your own money, but they give you like stipend money out just so people don't go like starving and stuff. But I grocery shop a lot for myself. If I go out to eat, that's my own money, and like with the conversion, I will say pounds to US dollars, I'd be spending a lot of money, as well as like transportation costs a lot, and also like traveling. A big part of coming to London and also just going abroad is that you want to travel and see other cities and countries and wherever you want to go, so that definitely adds up as well. Favorite and least favorite part about London so far, I feel like I'm not super, I don't know if starstruck is the right word, but like I don't think I'm seeing it through rose-colored glasses or whatever the little like metaphor phrase is, but I realistically do, and a lot of people have been saying this, I do see myself, or could see myself, living here. I don't know, it feels very fitting for me. I like the city a lot more than most cities I've been to, just in the way that it's so walkable, and like safety is a huge thing for me, and it just feels a lot like safer and cleaner. I love the amount of like parks, big parks, and like I love how the buildings look. And I don't know if this makes sense, but like the architecture of the buildings is super nice, but also they feel much more walkable. Like you're not surrounded by massive skyscrapers where you're like this. You're looking at pretty level buildings that are all so beautiful to look at. And then least favorite thing, this isn't about London specifically, but I feel very American here, and like we talk about this as a program, and I like just didn't really think about it a whole lot coming here, but it is kind of like you're very aware of yourself, you know, like you hear the accent difference, so it's not like we're hiding anything. But especially when we're in big groups, like we're very like out there, we're noisy, we're dressed like Americans, and like a lot of times I know that Americans do have like a certain stereotype, so sometimes it is kind of like, but I think that's also something I just need to get used to. A lot of people did ask about safety because they're like studying abroad or like visiting here soon, and I will say I'm in a pretty nice neighborhood, but in general London does feel a lot safer than like LA for sure, or New York, or I would say even than a lot of parts of Seattle, just because a lot of it is like better maintained. And of course I haven't visited like all areas. You shouldn't do certain things, like don't walk around alone at night. Have some kind of like, I have a special thing I got for Christmas. It's like a little alarm thing that I always carry with me. You have like pepper spray or taser, like honestly all for it, all for the safety devices. You know, you don't want to look like you don't know what you're doing. Favorite treat in London, okay, there's a bunch of gelato here. I've only had it twice, but like it always looks so good. And like the cookies here, and I don't know, oh my gosh, actually like all the baked goods here, or like pastries, there's so many more fancy pastry shops. Something about the restaurants and stuff, like the quality of the food and like the presentation of it is beautiful. A lot of people have asked about like my favorite place I've visited so far, and I think this will definitely change because I haven't done too much, if I'm gonna be honest. I don't know, oh my gosh. Okay, I will just say we went to Brighton one day for a day trip, and I really liked it there. Really cute, I'm not gonna lie. Up my alley, coffee shops, different vintage thrift shop. The vibes were just immaculate that day. That is all I'm gonna be answering for today, but of course if you guys have any more questions, and I do hope and plan to do like a kind of updated Q&A and chat life update as the semester goes on, so feel free to DM me or ask any questions. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and hopefully this video helped you out. Thank you for supporting me and chatting with me while I'm here. All the recommendations and like DMs really make my day. If you guys want to see any other like London videos, make sure to let me know in the comments down below. Other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.
I know you wanna leave, so come on, baby, be with me so happily.
Everyone outside of my window can see this right now, so hi guys.